For the past 244 years, the United States of America has been a very dominant force in the world. Even though it's been a comparatively short time since its release back in 1776, it has quickly cemented itself as a landmark title for the Earth community. However, while some may see spearheading this nation's path forward as a pretty linear and basic task, others see it quite differently. You see, there has been a silent competition over these last almost 3 centuries to beat the United States presidency in as little time as possible. That means taking office and leaving office as quickly as you can. But, while this may seem like a simple task to someone not versed in the intricacies of the run, it is anything but. The first speedrun of the United States presidency was in 1789, an entire 13 years after the country was first released. It was performed by a runner called George Big Money Washington. He took interest in the category due to his previous experience in Revolutionary War speedrunning. He was the first person to complete the run, with a time coming in at roughly 17 years and 63 days. Of course, being the first run ever in this category, his time is very slow by our modern standards. However, he realized this at the time, and finished his presidency in his own terms, rather than being removed from office.
This would come to be known as stepping down from office, or as the presidential speedrunning community calls it, resignation skip.
The next runner, John Adams, didn't even come close to touching George's record, with a time of 22 years. A new runner, however, came in after Adams' failed run to secure a record using George's own strats. A runner named Thomas Jefferson managed to massively drop the world record to an incredible time of 8 years, from 1801 to 1809. How did he do this, you may ask? Well, he simply studied George Washington's previous run and implemented the resignation skip earlier in the run to massively shave down the record. By this time, the category was beginning to gain popularity, and it wouldn't be for quite a while until we saw a new world record, with runner after runner attempting but not coming close to dropping below the 8-year record. That is, until a runner named John Quincy Adams came in 1828 with a revolutionary new strat called failing to get re-elected, or as runners nowadays call it, election skip. In addition, this is where a second strategy got its start, this one being used in every run nowadays: political campaigns. You see, while this strat is often chalked up to RNG, if a runner gets good luck, the opposing campaign can either appeal to the masses more, or defame the runner's own platform, both resulting in a lot of time saved in the re-election part of the run. This was an incredible development, and not only led to Adams' record of 4 years, but it also brought about the new age of presidential speedrunning, one reliant on campaigns. However, despite this development, runs in this category began to stagnate. Terms for presidency were always 4 years long, so even factoring in election skip and the new campaign strats, the world record remained tied at 4 years. It would stay like this for some time, and it showed no signs of budging. It seemed like the category had finally reached its peak, and it wouldn't change anytime soon.
Runners felt defeated, not realizing that, in just a few short years, this category was about to have its very foundation shaken to the ground, never to be the same again, all thanks to one runner named William Henry Harrison.
A completely unexpected upset came when Harrison discovered a game-breaking exploit that no one had thought of trying before: dying. This simple action allowed a runner to end their run much faster than anyone had thought possible before. In fact, to prove this strategy's effectiveness, Harrison used the death strat to cut the record down to 1/48th of what it used to be, setting the new world record to 1 month. Harrison accomplished this despite using quite a slow method, relying on the RNG of it raining while he was giving a lengthy speech as he was being sworn in. Most runners would and still do rely on less random things, such as cardiovascular events or guns, but none came even close to Harrison's record. There are plenty of attempts to claim this record from William Henry Harrison. However, most rely on the use of a strictly banned technique called Assassination, While the Presidency's two-player category has an equally rich history, the use of a second person is strictly banned in single-player POTUS runs, so most runs were disqualified, such as those of runners Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, and those that weren't, such as Warren G. Harding, who died of a heart attack, and Zachary Taylor, who died of tummy trembles, were significantly slower than William Henry Harrison's impressive time of 1 month. The years passed, and no one came even close to grazing his record. The closest attempt was an entire 179 years later in 2020. A runner named Donald Trump was approaching the end of his run, which was to be another 4-year record, tying with many before him. However, complicated events on January 6, 2021 led to him getting impeached and potentially removed from office. This would mean that his vice president, Mike Pence, would take the presidency from him. This was so important because the next president, Joe Biden, was to be sworn in and begin his run in a matter of weeks, meaning that Mike Pence could potentially be able to steal the record from Harrison after 179 years, maybe even getting a sub-2 week. However, Donald Trump was not removed from office and instead received a standard record of 4 years. Mike Pence not even given a chance to run. All hope looked lost. The speedrun community had gotten its hopes up so high, but it was all for nothing. Harrison's unshakable record didn't seem like it was going anywhere, and they just had to accept that the category might have finally died. Many already had and had moved on to attempting two-player runs. It seemed, to many, that it was finally time to give up hope. Out of nowhere, a completely unexpected runner named Kamala Harris dropped the time down to 1 hour and 45 minutes. After roughly 180 years, William Henry Harrison was dethroned, and Kamala Harris now holds the world record for the single-player category of the United States Presidency speedrun. Some may dispute this run's status as the world record, citing that she wasn't technically sworn in front of an audience. However, seeing as this is an any percent run, cutscene skips are 100% allowed, so this run is allowed to stand. No one really knows where this run will head next. It may seem impossible for a run like Harris's to be improved upon, but many runners thought the same about Harrison's. All it takes is one particularly skilled runner to come along and change the category forever. After all, Kamala Harris didn't even have to exploit death threats to get her world record. Really, only time will tell. The story of the United States Presidency world record is far from over. Maybe you'll be the one who will write the next page. Thanks for watching.